I think we covered it last time, but how we mentioned about how we went out shopping and you helped me get some new clothes.
Oh, can we go there? Because can I cut it in here?
I don't care.
I want to talk about that.
You want to talk about it? Or you
Yeah, I don't care either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I took this guy shopping. J Main, I'm Ryan. J Main,
Back again.
helped you choose that T-shirt.
Yep.
Doesn't he look like Michael J. Fox? Is it?
If with an allergic reaction
allergic reaction to time travel?
or just swelling up from a bunch of bee stings.
Man, you look sharp. So, like, you're definitely Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future, the mauve and the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
jeans.
Yeah, no, I'm picturing it now.
And-
Yep.
and
I need a vest, don't I?
Sweet kicks, yeah. Get you a life
puff vest?
preserver.
Yeah.
Guys, so last week we talked about, we had me and Ross here who can't get a girlfriend. This week, let's talk about how to keep a girlfriend or not. Jay, I know, is in a relationship. How long you been with your girlfriend for?
5 years.
How'd you work?
5 years, end of May.
How do you even know that end of, like, the time of year? Why are you giving me that look?
No, I mean, it's
You're
just,
forced to remember?
yeah, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, also because, like, early on in the relationship, she was, talking about anniversary, and I was like, well, hang on, we haven't had a wedding, so, like, what is the anniversary date of a non-married couple? Because it's like, if you started out as friends and then started dating, or if you just, like, started talking online, or if you then, like, went out on a blind date, like, where do you start your non-married anniversary?
Uh-huh.
And so that was a real point of contention, and so we sort of negotiated a date of, like, what we would call our anniversary, so now I remember it.
Okay, and what was it based on? What was it?
It was basically, like, the first real date where we, like, went out for dinner and did, like, a proper date, not just, like, hang out and meet for coffee kind of deal.
Yeah, good. How did you guys meet?
Online, like one of the dating apps. Or
Online
yeah.
dating?
I've actually got a story about that if you want. But
Yeah, I want.
all right.
I want. Yeah.
All right, you want me to tell
So
me
we got
now?
it, because we talked about how me and Ross literally signed back onto Tinder
Yeah.
in this seat last week, right before we pressed record.
Yeah.
So
That would be a fun thing to swipe through.
can you share? It's a fun thing to swipe through. His profile. Hey, do you want to hear about his? Everyone here?
I'll watch the episode.
Everyone here? No. Okay. So, so we had. Can you now lay down for us something for Ross to watch this week? For how to have success.
How to have
He
success?
needs help, yeah.
Both of you lower your expectations drastically. That's my secret. Like, it's all about compromise severely on both sides.
I feel
Let
like
go of the fantasy and just accept reality.
okay. I feel like I'm in dangerous territory. I don't want to say the wrong thing right now. So let's.
I'm the one putting my relationship on the
I
line.
know. I don't want to put your relationship on the run, because I know your girlfriend and she's fantastic, man. So I'll let you do that. And so you met online. You're going to tell me a story about
Yeah.
how
so,
that worked.
I mean,
for
look,
you.
basically it was like one of the apps. Got chatting. Eventually.
Which app, so we can picture it?
I want to say it was like eHarmony or something like that. It was just one of them.
Isn't it? eHarmony's like a serious. We talked about eHarmony last.
Yeah, it was like one of the more serious ones, like
Yeah, you
not
have
just
to-
like hook up kind of thing. It was like trying to
You have to plug your computer.
find someone, because it was also COVID times ish still, like so it was a bit of the thing, like you couldn't go and socialize or anything like that. So, yeah, so we ended up just meeting up, and then, a few dates and stuff, and then I met her parents and stuff, and this was back in
When did you meet
Victoria.
your parents?
So this was back in Victoria, probably after about 3 or 4 dates.
Okay, I don't want to sidetrack what sounds like it's going to be a really great story, but that's interesting,
Yeah,
man.
whatever.
Can you keep going with what you were going to say?
Oh, well, like that's just really like that's just the boring day to day like how we met. But the point being was that because we're on eHarmony and they must have like some sort of tracking data or something that because we both like cancelled our subscriptions and stuff and like acknowledged that we'd met somebody on the app before closing it, they sent like some like basically on your anniversary being like, hey, hope you like things are going well, blah blah
Oh
blah.
no, they don't.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they don't.
And so I got contacted as like a hey, like click this if you'd be interested in like communicating with us to like because we'd be really interested in your feedback because we got up to like basically 5 years. Um, and so they more or less interviewed me and they were just sort of going, oh, hey, we'd like to maybe do an interview. We might use it as a success story and like further promotions and all this. And they were just going through it like without like doing paperwork and signing releases. It was just like a preliminary interview to see whether there was something that they want to pursue. And basically they were like really, really excited, but the sort of comedian aspect of me that was sort of just not really embracing the romance of it.
You fucked it up.
Well, the guy interviewing me was having a great time and was enjoying it, but then basically he took it to like their marketing team and they're like, we cannot put this dude.
What did you say?
Well, because basically he was like, oh, if you've been together for this long and you met on our platform and it sounds like, it was integral to that, we'd really like to do this as a success story. And I was like, you've seen our profiles here? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you've seen what me and my girlfriend look like, right? Yeah. And I'm like, you really want to count that as a success story? Like, just two bottom of the barrels just bumping into each other? And like, going, you'll do. Like, is that how you want to pitch eHarmony? Like, eHarmony for when you've given up everywhere else? Like, and he was kind of like, well, that's not what we pitch. And I'm like, but that's what you are, right? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. Like, all our paid subscribers.
So it's now you're not on the eHarmony ads now.
No, they decided not
God,
to pursue the interview and like all of that.
I wish that you were. Maybe
I wish they would too. It'd be great fun.
Maybe that says something about you having a real relationship. You've been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
Man, is that the longest relationship you ever had?
Oh yeah, like well and truly.
Okay, so have you gotten better? Is better the right way? Have you gotten better at being in a serious relationship now, and that's why this is your longest? Because mine have been getting shorter.
Yeah, I can see that. That tracks. No, like in all honesty, it's my only serious relationship because everything else was definitely, again, like both myself and whoever I was seeing at the time we had some sort of idealized vision of what our life and our partner was supposed to be. And it would usually turn to shit because, basically expectations weren't being met on either side, and that caused conflict. And on this side, I kind of just went, you know what, like, I'm not trying to build anything specific. I'm just going into the relationship day by day. And as long as I'm not objectively miserable at any given time, I'll see how tomorrow goes.
You're never objectively miserable at any given time?
I get irritated and annoyed about something, but then I just sort of do something to help reset my perspective, like talk to a single friend, or
what do they say when you talk?
Oh, I just ask how like one of my single friends is going and like their dating life or whatever it is, and then they sort of start talking, and even if they're telling me it's going great and I know them well enough and know that that's all bullshit and they're just trying to convince themselves that they're not thinking about putting a gun in their mouth, that I go, hey, at least I'm not that guy.
Who's this guy? Because we want to have him on next week.
I'm talking to him.
Hey, that's not. You guys know I'm not like. I'm having fun, kind of, with my single life.
Your idea of fun is throwing a beach ball around.
I just like I feel even afraid to talk about my dating goals because they do seem very shallow.
Let me just tell you, don't be afraid to talk about it because I guarantee you, anyone that's going to date you is not listening to this podcast.
You never know. You never know. But no, I feel like I'm growing each week, and from the start of this podcast, from the things that I would say and think. So, I think that, so for example, in the past, you said don't be afraid. Okay, I'm not, because I've said them on previous podcasts that my dating goals are just to like date a different woman every week.
Sure.
To just be generally pursued by a bunch of women, and I think that maybe doesn't sound great. I don't know, but hey, can you guys give me some space while I mature? Because I'm trying to evolve from that, or should I not? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. No.
I
Like,
know what you're thinking.
Because look, I get it, but dude, that
in your
is
dreams,
100%.
in your dreams,
that is the teenager aspect. It's like that. It's that idea of like being in high school and wanting the hot girl to like you, and then then you see the dude that the girls do like, and how they're all swooning over him, and then they're not you, and then it's just like, and then that's just that like Hollywood dating high school movie trope, and you're in your 40s still trying to live that thing. At a certain point, do you ever look in the mirror and go, hey, maybe it's time for the 40-year-old to act like a 40-year-old?
No.
Because I sort of realized that.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest. Yes. Sometimes I do.
100%.
But then I push that down. Am I, well, help me out. Like, if shots invited. So, am I embarrassing myself?
Depends. Are you slinging some dick, or are you sort of getting rejected on the rings?
I'm getting rejected.
Yeah. Then 100%.
No, I'm not getting rejected. I'm not slinging dick. Does that mean I'm having a lot of sex?
Like,
not slinging dick. I don't feel right saying that. But no, I'm not. I'm not getting rejected because I don't approach women. I don't ask women out.
So we're still in the fantasy world.
So we're in the fantasy world.
All right.
Yeah,
I just want to know. I just want to know what the rules of engagement are here.
So I don't want to bore people from hearing me say this, but it haven't before. You nailed it on the head with Hollywood. I would say 90s sitcom. I live in the fantasy of 90s sitcom. You know 90s sitcom, right? Where it's still on TV. Seinfeld or Friends or the main characters. The dating a different beautiful woman every week, and so that's what I grew up with. So judge me, I invite you. But it taught me that what life is, the norm for life is for a normal guy, like even the loser George, dated, maybe not every week, but every second week was dating basically a supermodel. That was the norm, and so that's is the fantasy that I was learned from TV.
Sure, yep.
And I'm just saving up money to move to New York, where these TV shows are set.
And you can live in the same fantasy alone in a dark room there as well.
Probably, but I'm still lost in the belief of it.
I don't want to sound like I'm talking down to you, because
you do.
I get where that was, and in my 20s, certainly that's where I felt like, it was where you wanted to be with the hottie and you wanted to feel like you were the man. And I kind of realized that, we have that fantasy, but then really, that fantasy, even if you achieve it,
Uh-huh.
then there's no substance after that. Because if you've just gone after the hot chick because she's hot, and then you've hooked up or whatever, or you've gone on that few dates and you've shown her off to your mates, now what's left in that relationship?
The next one, according
Yeah,
to TV.
sure.
Yeah. And then
So
something
then-
funny happens, something cute,
Yeah.
quirky. You get into some trouble, you overcome it, you learn a lesson, and then you date a different
So
one.
how did the final episode of Seinfeld end?
They're all in jail.
Yeah, right. Like they're living their best life, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because there's a certain point where it's episodically, sure, you can look at it like that. But season arc and as a serial, you know, like and it ends and concludes. Like it doesn't conclude with you still being 45, like date going on your next date. It eventually ends at you 70 something years old, and it's like, and it's there's that point where I kind of realized that, and I went, well, yeah, I wasn't after like the shallow aspect of it anymore, because it was just, it just wasn't sustainable. And I realized that, like, when it just comes to like looks, and even if it's like the physical relationship, how many hours in the day are there, and then how often are you actually having sex or anything like that? So really, you want somebody in your life that is just compatible, and you work together and you become that team. Like, is that not the goal of a cohabitation and a couple and a partnership? And, you know, you end up becoming a pair. Like, I just realized that was a lot more rewarding and meaningful to my existence than what my mates thought of me because I was dating a hot chick. And also, hot chicks are really annoying. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still want to date a different one every week. You are mature. So how could I become mature like you, and what could I do to avoid it?
What, to avoid maturing?
Becoming mature like you. Because honestly, immature me, I'll get on board with this picture you painted, because it's like of the high school idea. Yeah, 100%. So, and that guy doesn't want to change. Doesn't. So I'm just saying, so part of the change is that guy that doesn't want to change. So what's your tips for becoming mature?
Embrace the change.
In this way. Embrace what?
Embrace the change.
Man, like, what does that mean?
Like, so you basically said the guy that doesn't want to change, right? Like, because it's like, okay, I'm this character, or at least I'm this version of a character I want to be, and I'm trying to convince myself of. And it's like, stop sort of worrying about what something should be or could be, and then just start sort of enjoying what is and getting value out of that, and not like just adding these expectations that more often than not end in disappointment. Like, let me be a little bit cynical for you. Do you know what the divorce average rate is at the moment? It's like 50%, right? What do you think is the number one leading cause of all divorces?
I have no idea. I only know what the cause of my divorce was.
What was it?
Oh, fuck. Let me
All right,
remember
hang
check
on.
whether I want to.
Hang on, so we don't derail this point.
Yeah.
I can tell you what the cause of your divorce was.
What?
Getting married in the first place. Right?
Very.
Can't get divorced if you're not getting married, right?
So no one should get married.
It's a different topic.
Okay.
But the point being is that, like, to risk divorce, like, getting married means that you're agreeing to the risk that it may end in divorce, or it may end in having that person by your side and caring for you and looking after you on your deathbed
Oh,
and having this beautiful life together.
oh, I think we've just found it because that is much scarier to me.
Because you have to acknowledge that it ends one day, right?
No, the first thing you already said, the thing that was scary about having someone by your side all the time, the thing that was supposed to be the good one.
No, but
Ah,
yeah, sure. Like, and I get that. Like, that is that aspect.
hey, like so.
It's responsibility.
I don't think that you need to defend that
Yeah.
point because I think we're just discovering the thing that is weird about me is that I'm afraid of this, the picture you painted of like you've got someone committed to being by your side. Ooh,
Oh no, it's
like
objectively awful sometimes. Like,
I don't think you need to get on board with me. I'm like, no, I think you're saying something that everyone likes.
no. But this is all right. So this is where it's complicated because
Uh-huh.
you're not completely wrong, but there's you're not sort of chasing the truth of the situation. Like, again, literally last night, watching TV on the couch with the girlfriend. Girlfriend goes, I'm tired, I'm going to go to bed. She gets up, goes to bed. A few minutes later, I decide, you know what, I'm going to go to bed too. Have a quick shower first. I'm expecting her to be in bed. If she's not asleep, she's scrolling on her phone, minding her own business. I go into the ensuite to go have a shower. She's in there. And now suddenly, little miss who couldn't keep her eyes open a few minutes ago is suddenly full of energy and wants to talk to me and is telling me about these
Oh,
things that she wants to do. And I'm like, go away. I came in here expecting you to be in bed because you told me you were going to bed. And now you're wanting this interaction? No. And she was kind of like, she left a little hurt. But by the time I had the shower and got out and saw her again, she was like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, you're on a wind down. You're getting ready for bed. And yeah, she was like super chill about that because she realized that we had different energies at the time and it just wasn't a conducive moment. And yeah, it was like, and it was a nice moment because that's when I think I knew I was with the right person, because if you do that to someone who doesn't have a bit of that emotional maturity, who then just now has this deep feeling of hurt and now feels vindictive against you for telling them to leave you alone when they just wanted to be affectionate, that's not good. So it's about, that's where I realized that it doesn't matter what they look like, how hot they are. My dad told me one day, mate, doesn't matter how hot she is, some dude somewhere is sick of her bullshit. So just be aware that doesn't matter how good she looks now, one day you're going to be sick of her bullshit. So you got to find somebody who gives minimal bullshit. It's not going to be none, but it just needs to be a manageable amount. And yeah, so like that's what's awesome about my long-term serious relationship is we don't take things personally. We understand that we can both be dickheads sometimes, and we address those issues. And it's chill.
uh-huh.
I don't know. It's not perfect. I don't think that I don't want to feel like I'm bragging about it.
No, I think maybe you can brag. It sounds like you're doing pretty good.
Thanks.
Have you thought about? Do you give a lot of relationship advice?
Like, I'm a short, fat kid that started going bald in their 20s. But there was also humour and drugs and alcohol. So like high school dating, that fantasy, like that 80s or 90s sitcom movie aspect, I had that, and it failed miserably. The girls at high school didn't want to know me.
Hang on, I didn't understand what you were saying. I thought you had that. Oh, you had that fantasy.
Yeah, that high school version. Like, I wanted to be in high school, though. I was age appropriate, right? And so all through high school, I got that little bit, sort of incel-y, sort of Captain Saberho mentality of like, through high school, of, you find the girl who got dumped or mistreated by the douchey guy, and then you're like, oh, you deserve to be with somebody who's gonna treat you right, and
Oh,
they're like, yeah, I know, and you're like, hey, I'm that, and yeah, I was that guy, 100%, not gonna lie. And then you sort of fast forward to early 20s, and it's all just boozing, partying, doing stupid stuff, and then suddenly when you do a few lines of instant confidence,
aka cocaine.
exactly.
You could talk to girls.
Yeah, like, and at that point, like, when, yeah, the little voice in my head that's like, oh no, they're going to judge you for that was like turned into, nah, say the fucked up thing, it'll be funny. That suddenly starts working because now you're the dude that says the fucked up thing and you're holding court with people who are like listening, and it shows that confidence, and then suddenly you've got the hot girl being like, hey, you're so funny, and I'm like, okay, cool. And so, you know, I had a couple of those, but they always end up fucked up. Like the girl that does come up to the coked up dude that's like, because she's chasing her own validation, like, by hooking up with the dude that's got everyone else's attention. So she's just as insecure and, like, shallow about that as anything else. So then the next week, when you're not in that party environment and you're dealing with her and she's got the shits up and is seeking validation that you're not delivering on, and before you know it, you got your favourite Hungry Jack's drive-through collectible glasses being thrown at you. I've lost so many. I've got so many incomplete sets of like the Hungry Jack's and McDonald's collectible glasses.
The drinking glasses.
Yeah, the drinking glasses
I
you used
was
to get.
picturing sunglasses.
No, like the drinking glasses you get, you know, like when you get like a large meal.
What did she do? Smash it over your head?
Oh, like throw them at me.
Oh.
But it's the girl throw, you know, where the elbow leads and it like goes high and hits the... Yeah. It's like, and this is the worst part, like, it was always one. And so, like, you know, they came in sets of 4 or 6. And so they throw the one, and then it's like, oh, this has gotten out of hand. And so, like, let's de-escalate the situation. But I had all 6. Now I got 5. And this set was from, like, 6 years ago. So I can't go get another one unless I want to pay $75 on eBay.
Did you keep them in your car, like glued to your dashboard or something?
No, this is like in the house. You know, like, basically all my glasses were the sets. It was but they were all various sets. Because it's like, I wasn't going to be the guy that's going to, like, put them in a little showcase or anything. They were for general use. But don't be a dick. Don't break them. They're collectibles. Like, and yeah, but so then they'd just be like, you're an asshole. Psh. Well, at least I don't break up collections.
And did you, when you would meet these women, would you tell them about your McDonald's Coca-Cola?
100%. Yep. Because
and then they would so hurtful. And then they would come home and smash them, knowing
it's not they were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come home to this guy and fuck up his collection. It was more like, hey, you know, you want to come over and hang out? And they're like, yeah, no worries. And then suddenly they come over and you're like hoping that you're gonna hook up, and then they're like, oh no, I just wanted to hang out for a bit. And then you're like, fuck, if I knew that was on the cards, I would have preferred to play Call of Duty with the boys. So then they wanted to sit there for your attention, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to go play Call of Duty with the boys. And then you get 3 rounds in, and then you start hearing the angry stomp up and down the hallway.
From a girl you've just met?
Oh, like, this is like a week or 2 later. After the party.
Okay.
Right? And then, yeah, inevitably, it's kind of like, and then, you know, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, you know, I better go try to patch this up. But I'm also a smartass and really, like I understood it emotionally, but then I didn't care. So then, you know, I'm like, all right, cool, let's go out and eat or whatever, and then take them out to eat, and then you're listening to their, you know, story about, I don't know, whatever TAFE bullshit she was going through at the time for nail tech or whatever, and then I'm just like, oh my God, I'd rather be anywhere else than Nando's listening to you talk about this. Like, yeah, you're gorgeous, but I just don't care. Go away. But I never really had the guts to like break up. Like I sort of was just like, oh, maybe it'll get better kind of deal. And then and then it would always just turn to shit because neither of you were really trying to get anything out of it. You're both just being self-serving at the time. And of course it ends in conflict.
Well, when you describe it like that, then it makes total sense why you're so happy now we're in this relationship you've been in for.
Admittedly, it can be a little boring, sometimes. But I realize that, like, I can bring my own excitement. She's, like, my missus is a great girl, and I can go, hey, I want to, like, do this fun thing. Like, let's go do that. And sometimes she might be like, oh, I never really thought about that. But she trusts me, and so she's like, hey, if you think it'll be fun, let's go do it. Like, we just dropped this prejudging everything. It's just let go of the reins a little and, like, unless you've got intention. Like, yeah.
Do you sometimes think about how you might deal with attention from women as you become more successful in stand-up
100%.
comedy?
Yep. Well, because I've already got a story associated with that, and it's got to do basically with the end of high school and the early, like those early 20s, was that. So, I have a bit of a harsh stance on the kind of girls that you're talking about, because like end of high school, where I was, we had the sugar ban, where basically the school canteens couldn't sell processed sugar. So all the drinks were like those little orange and lime mineral waters, and there was no chocolate. It was all fucking yogurt biscuits and stuff like that. It sucked. Like all the good stuff. There was no Freddos, and so everyone's jonesing for their sugar fix. I lived across the road from the school, so I started selling cans of Coke out of a locker. And I was the school Coke dealer, right? And it was $2 a can. And now suddenly I found myself the hot, pretty girls that were like even a year or two above me were like coming over and being like, hey, and they're acting all flirty and playing with their hair and stuff, going, oh, I heard that you sell cans of Coke and chocolate bars. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what do you want? And then they tell me what they want, and I go, it'll be this much. And then they're like, oh, I don't have any money. Like, it's, kind of stuff. Can I just have it this time? And I was like, no. And she's like, oh, I thought we were friends. I'm like, I've tried to talk to you no less than like 4 times, and you've literally rolled your eyes and scoffed at me in various classes or in school, and now suddenly I've got something you want. Suddenly we're friends? How about go fuck yourself? And you watch them just like hear no from a dude that they thought they had complete control over. And now suddenly, like, you would think that if they were earnest in their belief of I thought we were friends, they would be offended in a way of like, oh no, well, you really hurt my feelings, and I genuinely did consider us friends. No, they go vicious. Like, suddenly you told them no and to fuck off, and now suddenly you're a fat little loser, nobody likes you anyway. And I'm like, you're proving my point here, sweetheart. Like,
Okay.
So now I'm not worried about it, because anyone that's going to come up to me because I just did great on a show is the same one that's just there because, like, they see me as his value. They weren't talking to me before the show.
Yeah, but the funny is you. Okay, can we do a little role?
Yeah,
can
sure.
we do a little role? I don't want to butt that, because like I think that's a great point. I see the way in which the funny that you're generating is like sugar in a can of Coke.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that you've been able to make it. But
whether it's sugar in a can or booger sugar or like anything.
So you've just performed to 5,000 people at Madison Square Gardens. I don't know how many.
Madison
people
Square
can
Gardens was
order.
a lot more than
know.
that.
Okay,
Hey,
whatever.
in that
I have
scenario,
no
if it's
idea.
only
He knows.
5,000 at Madison Square Garden,
Okay.
that's a bad day.
You've had a bad day at Madison.
Maybe it's like a few thousand at the Astor in Perth. I don't know.
No, let's stick with it. So the girls are like, okay, he's funny, but he sold out 5,000 at Madison Square Gardens. We'll still suck his dick though. And so you're coming off the stage, and they're like, oh my God, there's Jay Main. He like half sold out Madison Square Garden, and they're coming up to you. Hey, Jay, wouldn't you like to? Here's my phone number. What would you take me out for dinner sometime? You're so funny. Mm-mm. And she's playing with her hair.
Yeah, it's the exact same. It's the high school situation all over again. Because like again, you're only here because you want something out of me, and that's it.
I just want to spend some time with you because you're so funny.
Okay, look, you're lying to me, but you're also lying to yourself.
No, it's true. It's you. It's you. It's not anything you have. It's you, Jay. I love you for you.
You know what?
Now I see how funny you are.
You know what? Let's go backstage and I'll introduce you to Ryan.
Yes.
And Nick and Ross and...
Oh, no.
What, you don't want a bit of competition?
That out. No, I don't. Not ashamed to say. No, I do not want to. But I could take those guys' hands down.
I'd be like, look, hey,
Nick,
just so you know, Ryan, he's gonna be dressed almost exactly the same as me because he dressed me.
So, I mean, this won't be too much of an adjustment for the girls who've seen Jay and fallen in love with him. I'm just a taller, skinnier version.
And I needed him to dress me because apparently I couldn't think of single solid colored t-shirt, jeans and sneakers. Apparently that was beyond my capacity of figuring out.
Apparently so. I mean, to put down works on both of us. I admit, not that sophisticated. This is as much as I'm willing to brave to try to get right, basically.
Oh, such a courageous move, wearing the most generic outfit you could possibly get.
Single lines. My clothes have got to have like the simplest boundary on them. No buttons, no collar. I can't. I don't know how to make that work.
I think I actually have to watch the Ross episode because he would have shown up in like a pineapple shirt with these like fish flops on. Mm-hmm. Like the antithesis of you.
He kept taking the fish flops off and waving in front of the camera. Yeah, antithesis, yeah. But so I see me and Ross and Nick are backstage. You're bringing the honeys back there for us because you are committed to your girlfriend. So I see when you're playing Madison Square Gardens, you guys are still together. And great. I'm so glad that we're friends. We will like...
The reason why I
bask in your glow.
Sex can't be used to manipulate me anymore, purely because I've realized that one, like... hey? What, you just bailed?
I was planning to use sex to try to manipulate.
Oh, are we still role playing, or are we talking again?
No.
All right.
No, now we're real. Back in the room.
We broke the fourth wall on that one. So basically, in your scenario, hotties are like, hey, let's go back to your green room, and I'm like, no, thank you. One, because I've got a good thing going on, and being a premature ejaculator, that minute and a half of like awesome is not worth risking the rest of my day-to-day life with an awesome partner. So hit the bricks.
Bro, you just made me nervous, making me picture as a single guy wanting it and having chicks coming, hey, will you take me back to the green room? Oh my God, now it's like watch me sweat at the pressure to perform. In that situation, because I don't, like, despite what I said earlier, I get super nervous about casual hookups. So, like, yeah, man. I don't know about premature ejaculation. I don't know if I can get it up when like a beautiful woman is.
I'm just having a fantasy right now of being like, what is it? You actually successfully like having a casual hookup, but knowing that you're going to get in your head shortly leading to the bedroom. You'll be like, hey, I'm not accusing you of anything. This is just a thing to help me get through a mental block. I need to hand over cash to you first. so I'm able to perform immediately after. You can give it back afterwards, but right now, just so my body knows what the situation is, I need to pay you up front.
A lot of truth in that. That might work, and that is an idea I might actually use.
Just put $200 on the nightstand.
A little bit more expensive than having a couple of Cialis in the back pocket.
Yeah, it's like...
But then I know I'm on my time.
Yeah, right. Let me ask you this. Again, I feel like... so when it came to like dating and that transition, have you heard of a thing called boyfriend dick?
No, what's that?
So this is something that I learned through female friends and co-workers and stuff, is that, we've all grown up with this obsession over like dick sizes and all this sort of stuff. And then I heard this conversation about girls talking about boyfriend dick, which is the guy that's got a size that is good for regular, everyday sex. Not the hookup that makes it hard to sit down for the next day or so. Because you don't want that in your life, because that's just going to be an unpleasant existence. And so when I heard this, I was like, it like really helped me with my insecurity aspect of it. Because it's like, again, not going to lie about anything. Got nothing to brag about. But then I went, I'm boyfriend dick. Like, I don't have to compete with my stud mates who are just jacked athletes and everything. Like, be the funny fat friend and just accept what life is. And then when you're talking about things and you're not obsessing over what you're not, and you tell a girl, like, yeah, no, I'm just the funny fat friend. Hey, this is fun. Like, this is cool. Do you want to hear this? Like, hey, I got the story about this time, and you can hold court, and then you admit, yeah, hey, sorry, honey, you don't want to hook up with me tonight. 1, best case scenario, I got what they call boyfriend dick, nothing to write home about. 2, probably not going to last as long as you want it to. That's a sign of vulnerability, and if you're confident enough to say that out loud, you'll probably get better results than you think.
Yeah, man, that's what that's because that's what you got, is that you're being funny, you're being confident, and you're being vulnerable. And guys don't. What am I trying to say? Guys don't know or admit it that that you want to be cute and vulnerable, and women, for some reason, don't make it obvious that that's a secret. I don't know. Do women not know it themselves? That they love it when we've been all fucking. I'm shooting myself in the foot, because the next time I meet someone and I'm being cool and charming, they're going to call me out on bullshit. Ryan, you're just fucking manipulating me because you just try to teach yourself how to be confident. I'm not that confident or charming yet, so give me a break. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, why do women don't go shouting from the rooftops, hey, just... No, sometimes they do. I mean, isn't that... Talking about sitcoms, what was that one with the 3... chicks, are they in the New York Sex and the City?
Yeah.
Weren't they always talking about, it was both. They would talk about, what did you call the boyfriend dick, the other one from that?
Yeah, and then one of them would be like, oh, that sounds disgusting.
We want the studs?
Yeah.
No, we want them to be vulnerable and cute and blah, and fit in our handbag.
You ever notice that with Sex and the City, this actually brings up a point that I'd love to talk to you about. I've never seen it, but I know about from all the cliches that's talked about in movies and TV shows. Like, the 3 main women basically represent exaggerated versions of a female archetype.
Yeah.
So you've got the professional, and then like the slutty one, and then like the emotional one. But the whole reason why that show works is because the key audience can relate to any given character at any given time, because it represents an element of their personality. So to simplify it down to any one attribute is not going to work, because it's more complex than that. But in your question of like, do women know or anything like that, it's the same for guys and it's the same for girls. But I've got friends now who...
Oh, guys don't know, though. Definitely don't know to be vulnerable. Can we do a 3-way podcast, one episode? Because I want to I'm not going to sidetrack you.
No, you're right.
And bless Ross Gear. He's an amazing friend and very funny. But I want to. He's got this golden opportunity to learn some vulnerability while I'm still only 26, and like,
Yeah.
and like slay it with ladies. You were going to say what?
Well, like, so with the Tinder aspect is I had this friend for a while who is objectively a stud. Like, he was an actor, model.
You talking about me?
He's who you wish you were.
Fuck that.
Right?
No,
But I mean, this dude literally went like overseas, didn't book any accommodation. Just the second he landed, open up Tinder, and would like go and hang out with his friends and stuff. But then basically just find a Tinder hookup and then go to their place that night.
yeah, in Thailand, that was me.
Yeah, but he wasn't paying for it. Like, he was just hooking up and then meeting his mates the next morning, and like literally didn't pay for a night accommodation anywhere, and was just bouncing from Tinder to Tinder, right? Good looking dude. Now, he's obviously doing this, but he had that look, right? So, he tried to like set up my Tinder profile because he's obviously a ladies' man, right? But he only knows how to work with his equipment
No,
of
it's not going
being
to work.
a stud, right? And then you go and take your Tinder profile to like a girl that you think is cool, that you really like, and you give it to them to be like, hey, set that up. They will fuck it up so badly. And I don't mean this insultingly, but every time I've seen a guy or a girl try to set up a guy's profile, they pick the photos that they want to like, not the ones they actually like. And they basically try to build this image of a guy that they want, but would never actually swipe right on. Like, it'll be, oh yeah, I want to like do this post, like do this photo because it shows that you like sports and outdoor activity, and then it's like show this, like do this to show that you like that you've got a dog or something like that. And you get these like women who will set it up like that, and then you get no swipes, and it's basically because the version is like, oh, it's a fishing photo. That's all he's got, and they just immediately like swipe off because it's like, oh, you're just a guy that's going to be out fishing all the time.
It is so hard for women actually to give men clear and helpful advice for what to do with women, and I don't know what it is, whether it's a secret that every woman on a planet decides to deliberately keep, or that's somehow mentally incapable. You know what I'm talking about? Because it extends outside of this thing for helping them set up dating apps. That's something I want to hear about more, but that's all we've got time for, unfortunately, because I've really started to feel like...
It doesn't sound so one-sided?
Yeah.
I've been the guy that set up a girl's profile, and it's gone well, purely because my aspect wasn't like, all right, we are going to ignore any ideology side of it, and we're just going to go pure fact that is set for the male brain. And I was like, immediately, either show up in your first photo, this is for the girl, whatever your best asset is, whether it's boobs or butt, it needs to be visible. Doesn't have to be grotesque, but you just want the guy to go, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Oh, she's got a nice ass on her. Because then he'll at least look further into the profile. And that's all you need to do, is to just not get immediately rejected, and like by being in a freaking librarian costume and being boring. And then in your thing, don't do the thing that you want to, that you think they're going to like, hey, I like Star Wars movies because you've watched 3 of them and you can sit through them. If you say I like Star Wars, you need to have watched the animated series and all this sort of stuff, because that's what the guy who's going to see that is hoping you are. Just be honest. Just, what do you actually like? And she was like, no, I genuinely like Pokemon. And I'm like, then admit to that. Because guys are just, they're going to see that and go, she's got a nice ass, and she's genuinely into Pokemon, and I can see because she showed a photo of her like Pokemon plushies, and then she goes, I'm also really serious about my career, and I'm a like business consultant. And then just another thing that just says, this is what I do, and it's like awesome. And she was like, immediately went on like 4 dates and was like, these guys are all awesome, and I don't know which one of them I like more. None of them are dickhead losers because it was filtered. You found the horny guy, but then lost it at the career aspect because he's like, no, she's too smart. Like, she's not going to deal with my bullshit. Copped a few of the loser Pokemon nerds that are just like, yay, I've got my Pokepal. It's like she's found the guys that sort of accept the whole package and are interested by the whole package, not just one little aspect of it. So it's an encompassing thing, and I'm like, hey, if we all sort of acknowledge it from both sides, like, I'm short, fat, and bald, but I care about my partner's feelings. I'll look after her, and like, for every pro there's a con. Like, it's not just min-maxing.
Short, fat, and bold. I think that'll be written on your Pokemon card if you were a Pokemon.
100%.
Tinder profile, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, Jay can come on and will help me set up my Tinder profile.
That's a lot of pressure, but sure. You helped me dress like an adult. Well,
put that. I dress comedians. Probably the best thing that'll be on there. That's all we got time for. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Oh, yeah, we went a little long, but you can.
No, it's okay.